Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how are you today? In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about something that was not just brought to my attention by a subscriber, but also brought to my attention by my son. A lot of you that have been with me for a while know that my son is in the Marines, and he's a new Marine. But you know, a lot of you that are new here, you know, you don't quite know that, you know, we are now a military family and how proud we are of our son. This was brought to my attention, this article, and I'm going to read it to you. I'll leave a link in the description box below. This is really quite scary, but I really just don't know how else to put it to you. It's like a purge. It's an extreme. It's what's happening is they're going to be like weeding the military out. And that's not just what this article says to me. When my son, I was on the phone with him the other day, because a lot of you know that he's at MCT right now. And MCT is like infantry school, okay? And regardless of what your MOS is, or MOS is like your field of training, okay? Every Marine has to go through infantry school or MCT. And when I was on the phone with him, he said, Mom, he said, they are going to be pretty much like weeding out the military. I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, Mom, he said, with the Marines right now, we're 180,000 strong. And I said, well, that's awesome, son. And he said, yeah, Mom, he said, but they're going to be weeding us out. And I said, well, how are they doing that? And he said, well, he said, you know, generally if you make a mistake or whatever, you know, they give you chance after chance after chance. He said, now, he said, you get 2 shots and after that you're out. And I said, oh boy. I said, you know, you go through all this training, you know, and I said, that's got to be scary. And he said, well, he said, Mama, he said, honestly, I'm not worried. And I said, yeah, I said, but, you know, you go through all this, you know, psychologically, emotionally, physically. You know, he said, Mama, he said, we really just got to be on our toes. We got to watch everything that we do, everything that we say. He said, we were already warned about social media. Okay. So even something as small as posting on social media, you can get kicked to the curb. Regardless if you've been in the Marines for 6 months, 5 years, 10 years, the smallest thing, you're gone. So, and this is like a military purge, literally. So when I read this article, because it was sent to me, I said, wow, what, you know, when number 45 was in, right? He tried to build up our military so much because he wanted our military to be the strongest in the world. And now it's almost like they're being picked apart. But the way that my son put it, he said, Mom, they only want the best of the best of the best. Is that how your SDI and your DI put it? to make you feel that way? Or is that what's actually going on here? Or because I don't feel that just because of a post or because of a mishap or an error, you should be kicked to the curb after a lifelong career. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. But this is what's happening in the United States now, that the Defense Department has ordered its own purge of like extremism in the ranks. Last month, the Secretary of Defense issued a memo on immediate actions to counter extremism in the military and chose a man by the name of Bishop Garrison, and that's Garrison, to head the Countering Extremism Working Group. Now, what does Bishop Garrison consider to be extremism? There's so many different levels, right? In our world. But in military world, it could be, right? In 2019, this guy, okay, he tweeted, another twit on Twitter, as far as I'm concerned. He tweeted about misogynists, extremists, and other racists and said, if you support the president, now this was back in 2019, so when he said, if you support the president, you know who he was referring to, number 45, right? You support that. There is no room for nuance with this. So according to Garrison's definition of extremism, at least 74 million Americans are extremists, including about half of the soldiers in the U.S. military. So if you were a supporter of 45, holy cow, you got to go. And for what? Because you don't agree with him? In a June 2020 article, he also wrote this, that such extremism must be cut out like a cancer. It has been far too long. Now, it will be Garrison's responsibility to create a lengthy screening process that all new military recruits must pass in order to identify specific information about current or previous extremist behavior. This is insane. So if you feel one way about one certain subject, but you feel differently about... I mean, half of these new recruits are kids. In Andrew's platoon, there were like 3 17-year-olds. They're still wet behind the ears, for crying out loud. Oh, God, there's no... This guy. Here we go. In Andrew's platoon, there was one guy, he was 23, same age as Andrew. He was actually a police officer with Miami-Dade, right? He actually quit the force to become a Marine. Yeah. So there's so many different people and mindsets. Oh, God. This one, he's going to be the end of end all when it comes to military. No kidding. So a memo from March 2021 outlines the extremism and insider threat in the DoD, or Department of Defense, right? And identifies symbols like the OK hand gesture as potential signs of extremism. okay hand gesture? You mean like that? Like, I'm all right. Is that what that means? Okay. Are you joking right now with this? So going, I'm all right. How about hang 10? How's that? You know, like when I was living in Atlantic City, you know, when I was younger in high school, there was a bunch of us. We were surfers. Hang 10. Is that extreme enough for you? How about cursing? Is fiddlesticks too harsh? Come on, man. Just recently, a brand new Space Force commander named Matthew Lohmeier, Lohmeier, was reassigned because he stated that diversity, inclusion, and equity industry and the trainings we are receiving in the military is rooted in critical race theory, which is rooted in Marxism. Bishop Garrison can now wield supreme authority to cancel anyone in the military who expresses the wrong opinion. God help him if he ever comes across an Italian woman. Don't ever. Oh, Lord help me. Uffa Madonna mia. Obviously, I'm not suggesting that the U.S. is turning into a Stalinist regime. But it's clear that the Defense Department's priorities have shifted away from maintaining the most effective fighting force in the history of the world. Now, it's all about diversity and inclusion from Special Operations Command in the Central Intelligence Agency. This is classic thinking for out-of-touch bureaucrats, most of whom have never been anywhere near a combat zone. Okay. First of all, none of our men and women should ever be in a combat zone. And I say this because if our leaders would keep their noses out of foreign affairs where they don't belong, then our children, our husbands, our wives, our nieces, our nephews, our grandchildren, aunts and uncles wouldn't be in combat zones, would they? No. No. If they had, they understand that when bullets start flying, no soldier in a foxhole gives a damn about the skin color of the guy next to him. And that's true. Because like Andrew said, my son, like he said, they're all my brothers, Mom. We're all best friends, Mom. Damn straight, son. All they care about is staying alive, keeping their fellow soldiers alive, and accomplishing the objective. Yet now, at a time when the Chinese military is rapidly catching up to the West in terms of tactical prowess and weapons technology, and may already be far ahead in terms of cyber warfare, the top priority in the U.S. military is now social justice and stamping out ideological dissent from its ranks. The policy changes are pushing many members of the military to leave voluntarily, something the Center for a New American Security calls a looming retention crisis. According to the report, an alarming number of talented military officers are leaving the service. There's a lot of reasons why that's happening, but according to the report, having some bureaucrat accuse you of being an extremist when all you've ever done is put your life on the line in service for your country probably doesn't help this retention problem. Yeah, no, it's not going to, because you've got some guy who literally sits in an office and pushes paper all day. And you're going to tell the guy that's literally been fighting for your freedoms what to do and tell him that his job is on the line because you don't like the way that he thinks. It's my. We're not going to make it, are we? You know, uh, this, because it, my son also said this to me. He said, Mom, he said, did I join the military at the wrong time? And I said to him, this was my actual answer to him, because before he left for quarantine and boot camp and everything, I had tried to talk him out of it. And it's not because I didn't want him to join the Marines. It's not why at all. I had said to him, I said, son, I said, now is not the time to join the military because of the current administration. And he said, Mom, he said, what am I supposed to do? Wait another 4 years? He said, then I'll be 27. And I said, I understand that, son. I said, I just have a feeling. And now look. And now look. Because we've got a potato who doesn't know how to keep his nose out of everyone else's business. But from what I understand, they're going to be phasing him out, phasing Heels Up in by August, I believe it was. That's what I heard. Whether any of that's true, I don't know. I really don't. You know, holy cow. Holy cow. You know, this is just, you know, I guess when you have a kid in the military, or even your husband, your wife, anybody who's active right now, it's like this overwhelming feel of dread. And then when they put this on you and they say, now, if you speak in this way, or if you do this, or if you do that, this guy, this Garrison, put him in a foxhole. Let him know what it feels like to fight for our freedoms, let alone fight for his own damn freedoms. And then he can come back and have something to say. Until then, he needs to shut his damn pie hole. Because unless you've walked in those boots, shut up. Because there's no reason for you to have anything to say. None. I don't care if you're an expert in anything. None. I don't know who this guy is. And honestly, I don't care. I don't care. All I know is that he's pissed me off. Why? Because this is pertaining to my child. Even though my child is 23 years old, he will always be my damn child. And my child is a United States Marine. And I will knock anybody out who tries to take that title away from him. He has worked too damn hard. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe. Stay calm. Lord knows I can't. Not when it comes to this shit. Keep prepping, you know. Fear less. I'll see you later. Bye.